If you've seen many of my videos before, you'll know that my lye tends to have quite a violent reaction because I have so many additives in it. So today I'm going to try to reduce some of that reaction by having my solution very chilled and having it in an ice bath as I stir in the lye, just to prevent it from turning that violent orange color that happens. It's because I use aloe juice, sugar, and citric acid, and they all react with the lye. They caramelize, they create a bright orange color. I also have salt in here to lend hardness to the bar, but the salt doesn't affect the color at all with the lye. It's mostly actually the citric acid. This container is nowhere big enough. Ooh, okay, well, it's a very interesting situation. All right, hold on and let me change to a bigger bucket for mixing. All right, with the magic of cameras, we have shifted into a bigger container here. We're just going to slowly drizzle this in as we stir, hoping not to get a bright orange color. Already I can tell this is making a huge difference. There's still steam coming off of this. The lye is still making this extremely hot. In fact, let me take the temperature. I didn't take a starting temperature, but we can at least get a current temperature. It's at 205 degrees. So the lye is still extremely hot, even with having chilled the liquid in the freezer for 3 hours and mixing it up in an ice bath. It still has gotten extremely hot, but it did not turn bright orange yet. So we're just going to keep stirring this until the temperature starts to go down. Once the temperature starts to go down, we will work on our oils while this continues to cool off. But I never want to stop stirring my lye until the temperature starts to go down. If you stop stirring before the temperature goes down, you run the risk of having it not completely dissolved. It is now 203, so I know the temperature is going down. I'm just going to stir a little bit longer, but let's go get started on the oils now. Just look at all these lovely butters waiting to be put into our beautiful soap. We have coconut oil down at the bottom. We have some snow white lard. We have beautiful cocoa butter and some unrefined natural shea butter as well. To those, we are going to add our olive oil and our castor oil. But right now, we're going to go ahead and melt the hard oils so that all of our oils will be nice and liquid in order to emulsify them with our lye solution. So we'll bring you right back. Here is our trio of characters. We have our lye solution, which is coming in at a solid 127 degrees Fahrenheit. Our hard oils, which are currently at 116 Fahrenheit, and our soft oils, which are a chilly room temperature 58 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm hoping that when I mix them all together, our temperature will be somewhere close to 100. So we're going to go ahead and mix the soft oils with the hard oils. Hard and soft oils together has us at 92 degrees. And then our lye solution, which is a bit warmer. Now that we have the warm lye solution in with the oils, we are standing right at around 100 degrees. It's just moving as I stir it around, but that's a solid 100. So that is pretty good in my book. I'm just hand stirring a little bit to help get rid of some of the air bubbles that came in when I poured the oils. And then I am going to go in with my stick blender. or this is a large batch of soap, but I am going to be splitting this up into 2 different videos, one for love letters and one for heartbreaker soap. Because it is such a large batch of soap and because it is so cold in my basement, I'm going to be keeping an eye on the temperature and I'm going to be watching for false trace. If you see the graininess on the surface of the soap, when you first pull it up, I don't know if you can see that grainy texture, but that shows that it is not emulsified yet. So we want to make sure that even though it starts to look thick and it might look like we can see ribbons, that's not trace. I've separated my oils. We're going to add our fragrance. The fragrance for this one is a custom blend that I've made with juicy watermelon candy and bergamot fragrance oils. So it's like a watermelon citrus scent. And it just smells so refreshing and so sweet. And while some people might say that sounds like more of a summer scent, I think of Valentine's Day as candy and sweets and feeling pretty. And to me, that's what this scent definitely brings to mind. It is so sweet, so simple, so refreshing. It's clean, it's lovely. I adore it. So I'm just kind of hand stirring to get the fragrance oil incorporated and to knock out some of the air bubbles that happened when I poured. Unfortunately, I poured the soap batter a little too fast because it was so heavy. And because of that, I have a little too many air bubbles in there. Luckily, these are going into cavity mold, so the air bubbles won't be as obvious, but I still would like to avoid them as much as possible. We're going to go in, burp the stick blender, again, to prevent air bubbles. Stir it around to try to knock out some of those air bubbles, and then get to blending. Now, unfortunately, this setup is so big that I can't show it to you all at once, but I've got 24 cavity molds to fill here. We're going to start with the top layer here. The bottom layer we're going to add titanium dioxide to. So this is going to be a bit of an experiment to see which is better for me to get a white soap. Whether to do my straight up recipe or whether to add titanium dioxide to the batter. So we are going to start with the non-titanium dioxide. And we are just going to fill these up part way and then add our candy hearts to them. The thing I'm most worried about, I don't know if my batter is thick enough, so let's see how this candy heart does. If it just sinks straight to the bottom. Oh, it does. Oh no. Okay, we can't have that. I'm going to have to blend this more and get it set up a little bit more so that it can hold the candy heart in the bottom. So let me see if I can make that happen. All right, I had to wait quite a while to let this base set up so that I could get our candy hearts to stay on the surface. I don't want them to break through to the bottom because I want the bottom to be a solid white color. So I'm glad that they are set up, and it looks like I'm going to be able to place my embeds on them without the embed sinking all the way to the bottom. Now we have our candy hearts embedded in. Ooh, I've got to be careful not to cover the embed. This is going to be tricky. My goal is to have a flat surface on the top, because remember, these are supposed to be envelopes. Okay, that works. That works. Okay, I have to be super careful filling these in. It's not going to be as simple as just pouring it in one corner. So I'm going to be very careful because I do not want to ruin these. And we will try to fill them as much as we can without covering the heart. And then we will bang them down on the table to try to get a flat surface on the top. Woo, that one's getting a little overfilled. All right, I think I can do this. I'm not good at slow, steady work like this, but this is an important soap, so I really want to get it right. Whoop, we're moving our heart around. I put a little over here. Whoops. Oh, see, I got the bottom of that heart. Oh, look at that. I covered my heart. Now, because it's covered in mica, sometimes it is easy to just brush it off. If it was not covered in mica, that would not be as clean of a cleanup. All right, for the most part, I think this worked. Some worked better than others. As long as they have a heart shape to them, I'll be fine. I just want to make sure that they look like a heart from the top. So I'm just manipulating some of the soap to increase the effect of the heart shape and also popping any bubbles I can find. And some of them I'm just recentering them. Some I'm wiping off where it looks like the soap might have touched the top or the surface of the heart. All right, not too shabby. And we've got a second one to try. We're going to try the titanium dioxide one next. So hopefully that one we will do an even better job on. So this is titanium dioxide, and as you can see, it dissolves in water super fast. Like I'm not even stirring it, and you can see this powder just dissolve. It dissolves quickly in water. This is supposed to give a bright white color to soap. I've never had really good luck with it. Usually when I use titanium dioxide, it actually yellows my soap. But we're going to give it a try and actually compare the two in the same recipe with the same fragrance. And this is the remaining of my Love Letter soap batter. So we are going to add it in here. Maybe I don't use enough. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why using too little would give a yellow color, though, versus a white color when my soap batter by itself is fairly white on its own. Now, with titanium dioxide, you always want to disperse it, either in water or oil. You never want to add it dry. If you do, it can clump on you and give you what are called titanium drips. So you don't want any of that. But not only do you want to disperse it, you also want to stick blend it. For some reason, stick blending gives you the best effect with titanium dioxide. So I've heard, because I've never had really good luck with it myself. But let's give this a try and see if it turns much whiter. It does look whiter than before. It's still a creamy color. I use the recommended amount of a teaspoon per pound of oils. So we'll just see how this turns out in the actual soap. So very much like what we did before, I will pour some into the bottom of the cavities and I will let that set up, and then I will put my embed inside. This soap has been setting up for much longer than that soap had when I poured it. So this one should set up quite quickly. In fact, I might be able to just place the embeds on it as is and tap it down, but I'm not sure that I want to try it that way. Whoops, well, I'm going to have to with that one because that one is already full. All right, this one is so full. I'm going to place the embed now. And then I will do the same with the others. I think it's strong enough to hold it. Oh. Nope, I'm going to give it just a little bit more time. But that one I had to kind of get it in now. so that it could get in there and set, because that is pretty darn full. I really do love these cavity molds. I see lots of people saying you can't be as creative with them as you can with loaf molds, but I have not found that to be the case. I think you just have to think of it in a different way. You're decorating top to bottom instead of left to right. So I'm just going to kind of glop this on and fix it, much like you would do with royal icing on sugar cookies. We're going to fix a lot of it with a skewer. So the titanium dioxide, I'm not sure which was responsible for the thickness more, the titanium dioxide or just letting it sit longer, because this sat for a lot longer than the first batch we did. I'm just going to kind of swirl this around, try to get it to even out. And this one we did speckle some soap on top of the embed, so I'm just going to wipe that off. Okay, I'm just going to try to get that as even around the embed as we can. And same thing here. I'm just trying to jostle it enough to make it kind of even out. I'm not really spreading it or anything so much as I'm just kind of agitating it and getting it to flatten out a bit. And then anywhere where I see I need more, we will try to add some more, but this is thickening up pretty fast. And this is super gloppy around this heart, so I'm also going to, as I agitate, just try to make sure that I shape the soap around it so that the top image we're seeing is the heart shape. Getting it to go into the corners and to lay flat. For as thick as it is, it's behaving really nicely, letting me play around with it like this, so that's good. I don't know how entertaining it is for you guys to watch me do this, but I am not minding doing it. And then a lot of this can be cleaned up in the trimming process once we unmold the bars. I'm going to try to scoot that one a little over. That's a pretty one. So the reason why I like to make my embeds out of soap dough, there are difficulties with that. Sometimes the shape is not as distinct because you're pushing it into the mold, and that can sometimes distort the shape of the silicone. But I was able to make all of these hearts in like 15 seconds, and I was able to reuse my mold because I would push the dough in, pop the hearts out, and then refill it. So I do like soap dough for that reason. If you're using a mold, you don't have to own a million molds to be able to get it done because you're not pouring it. And I don't have to use melt and pour, which sweats. And by sweating, I mean it will attract moisture from the air and it will pull glycerin out from the soap, and it causes these little droplets that are not pretty. They're fine. They're perfectly safe. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just ugly looking. It's so hard to wipe this off without pushing the embed down further. Okay, I think that's as smooth as I'm going to get that one. And now we'll take it and just jostle it. And we're going to call that good. We're going to go let these set overnight and we'll unmold them in the morning.
Do you want to know? Well, I've been thinking about you, and I think I'll have to listen, because the sun is up, it's a beautiful day. My beginning will be as bright as the sun. Come, won't you come along? And it feels so bright, it's like luck is raining on me. Go and follow your heart, doesn't matter how far. There is so much love to give, something's telling me this time. Baby, baby, now I know. Baby, baby, gotta go. There is so much love to give, something's telling me it's right. When you came to me, oh I knew it's you, yeah, boy. The one who showed me now and forever. No, you'll never be alone again. All day, oh yeah, all day. Please stay and it's smiling, holding on to your tight. I guess our hearts can align, and it feels so right. It's like your love has gotten to me. Go and follow your heart, doesn't matter how far. I can see it now, it's deep.
So here are the finished bars side by side. This is the titanium dioxide and the uncolored soap. Not a big difference, but this one does have a creamier, more opaque look to it, whereas the other one has a slight translucence to it and is more of like an antique white. But I think they both turned out super cute. And this is what they look like all packaged. I put my soaps in an organza bag, which makes them gift ready. I think they look really cute this way. And you can put your soap scraps in this bag. Once, you get slivers of soap, you can put them in this bag and use it to kind of save your scraps. And here is my label with little hearts on it. Love Letter soap. This means that every single bar will be 2.9 ounces or larger. So I hope you enjoyed watching me make Love Letter soap. Thanks for watching.